Hey everybody, welcome back. And before we start, just want to say thank you to everybody who blessed me in the last video. Today we're going to be reacting to Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds' Stagger. Now the way this was recommended to me makes me think I should almost put a warning at the beginning of this video, because I was just told it's probably an explicit song. But yeah, there's also an official music video, and the last couple of times I've done Nick Cave's music, it's gotten blocked. Then I would submit an appeal, and normally that would be fine. I recently did the song The Carney, and it wasn't fine, and it stayed blocked. So then that went up on Patreon. I don't know what's going to happen with this, if this is even going to go through, but we're going to try it anyway. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, my name is Daniel, and here we react to music, and I try to figure out what the music and the lyrics mean to me personally, and we have a great time listening to great music. All right? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Stagger.
It was back in 32 when times were hard. He had a Colt 45 and a deck of cards. Stagger. He wore rack-drawn shoes and an old Stetson hat. Had a 2840, had payments on that. Stagger. His woman threw him out on the ice and the snow, and she told him never ever come back no more. Stagger.
I love the piano.
So he walked through the rain and he walked through the mud till he came to a place called the Bucket of Blood. Stagger. He said, Mr. Motherfucker, you know who I am. And the barkeeper said, no, and I don't give a good goddamn. To Stagger Lee. He said, well, bartender, it's a plain to see. I'm the bad motherfucker called Stagger Lee. Mr. Stagger Lee. Well, the barkeeper said, yeah, I heard your name down the way, and I kick motherfucking asses like you every day, Mr. Stagger Lee. Well, those were the last words that the barkeep said, 'cause Stag put 4 holes in his motherfucking head. Just then in came a broad called Nellie Brown, known to make more money than any bitch in town. Yeah. She struts across the bar, hitching up her skirt over to Stagger Lee. She's starting to flirt. Oh, Stagger Lee.
Gotta pause it. That'll be the only time I do so. This is interesting. This is a different side of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds that I hadn't seen before. Because this almost like the way this song is being performed and the way everything sounds almost feels a little ironic in this song. Like it's almost like yeah, it's interesting. It's like a self-aware thing. I don't know. I like it. It's very over the top, but I like it so far. Let's keep going.
Lee, she's starting to flirt. Oh, Stagger Lee. She saw the barkeep, said, oh God, he can't be dead. Stag said, well, just count the holes in the motherfucker's head. She said, you ain't look like you're scored in quite a time. When I come to my bed, it won't cost you a dime, Mr. Stagger Lee. But there's something that I have to say before you begin. You have to be gone before my man Billy Dilly comes in. Mr. Stagger Lee. I'll stay here till Billy Dilly comes in, till time comes to pass. And furthermore, fuck Billy Dilly in his motherfucking ass, said Stagger Lee. I'm I'm a bad motherfucker, don't you know? And I'll crawl over 50 good pussies just to get to one fat boy's asshole. Said Stagger Lee.
What is
Just
happening?
then Billy rolls in, he says you must be the man motherfucker called Stagger Lee. I'm Stagger Lee. Yeah, I'm Stagger Lee, and you better get down on your knees and suck my dick, because if you don't, you're gonna be dead. Said Stagger Lee. Oh, well, Billy dropped down and slobbered on his head, and Stig filled him full of lead.
Holy cow!
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like a scream. So, what I was saying a minute ago is actually like triply true now. What the hell? That was hilarious. Wow. Okay. I like this song because of its positive message, is the top comment. Next comment is... So elegant, so dirty, so vile, so graceful, so intense, so smooth. The tension builds and builds and the violence explodes. This may be the coolest song ever recorded, especially cool performance. It's beautifully cheesy, brutally cool. Can't help but love this song for its self-awareness of it being quote-unquote bad. Dang. I was looking for the 1959 hit for Lloyd Price, Stagger Lee, and found this. Thinking it was a new cover version, I gave it a play. I was shocked, but in a good way. This is brilliant. This guy's a charismatic genius. Oh, boy. In a better world, this song would be a staple at karaoke bars. Alright. Oh boy. That's, alright, so this is off the album Murder Ballads. An extra violent version of the traditional folk song Stagger Lee, or Stagger Lee. You can read a comic version of the story by Timothy Lane here. Alright, I'm probably not going to read every word of these lyrics, but here we go. It was back in 32 when times were hard. He had a Colt 45 and a deck of cards, Stagger Lee. He wore rat-drawn shoes and an old Stetson hat. He had a 28 Ford. He had payments on that. His woman threw him out in the ice and the snow and told him never come back no more, Stagger Lee. So he walked through the rain and he walked through the mud till he came to a place called the Bucket of Blood. He said, Mr. MFer, you know who I am? The barkeeper said, no, I don't give a good goddamn to Stagger Lee. And he said, well, bartender, it's plain to see. I'm the bad MFer called Stagger Lee. Mr. Stagger Lee. Barkeeper said, yeah, I've heard your name down the way, and I kick MFing asses like you every day. Well, those were the last words that the bard keeps dead, because Stag put 4 holes in his MFing head. All right. So right off the bat, this would be during the Great Depression, a severe economic depression that affected most of the world. Yes, we know what the Great Depression is. A 6-cylinder revolver, which was designed for the U.S. government. The 6-cylinder was often associated with old Western-style imagery, furthering Stagger Lee's characterization as an old-fashioned outlaw. Lee, a notoriously violent man, seems not to own anything save for things that can help him in illicit activity and fights. Gun, steel-toed boots, and playing cards. This sets up Lee for the shooting that will occur later in the song. Stagger Lee is apparently based on an African-American man named Stag Lee Shelton, who killed another man named Billy Leons in St. Louis on December 25th, 1965, and has been featured in over 428 songs over the past century. Jeez. All right. Rat drawn means the shoes are pointed like a rat's nose. Stetson hats are some of the most well-known types of hats in the world. Cowboy hats for men and women in straw, felt, or leather. The original story of Stagger Lee says that Shelton and his acquaintance Billy Leons got into a dispute, which escalated when Leons took Shelton's Stetson hat. Shelton shot Leons, retrieved his hat from his corpse, and left. A good hat cost a lot of money in these days and carried a lot of symbolic value as well. Huh. This goes to show that he was not a rich man. Actually, a quotation from a Hustler, transcribed and collected in The Life by Dennis Wepman, read, rat drawn shoes, old Stetson hat, 28 Ford, and payments on that. Oh, okay, so it's all right. Interesting. So he comes to a place called the Bucket of Blood, this type of delightful drinking establishment that probably lies across the street from the Thirsty Dog. The badass Mr. Stagger Lee has much in common with the violent narrator of O'Malley's Bar, Part 3, which also demands an introduction, who also demands an introduction as he tears up a bar. I said, I want to introduce myself, and I'm glad that you all came, and I leapt up upon the bar and shouted down my name. All right, so he shoots him. Then just in came a broad named, called Nellie Brown, known to make more money than any in town. She struts across the bar, hitching up her skirt over to Stagger Lee. She's starting to flirt. She saw the barkeep, said, "Oh God, he can't be dead." I love his voice when he does this. Like, "Oh, he can't be dead." Well, just count the holes in his MFing head. You don't look like you've scored in quite some time. Why not come to my pad? It won't cost you a dime, Mr. Stagger Lee. Nick Cave cites the version of Stagger Lee that W.H. Auden included in his book of light verse as an influence on his own particular rendition of the song that he performs here. This version has Miss Billy Leons instead of Nellie Brown in denial over the cold-blooded murder and the droll gallows humor of the gruesome response. The performance version ending where Stagger Lee takes over hell also riffs on Auden's version. There's a version where he takes over hell? Wow. In a Rolling Stone interview, Nick Cave describes the initial incongruity of Auden's book as inspiration. I was just reading this book edited by the poet W.H. Auden, a collection of light verse, and he had a great version of Stagger Lee in there. It was a real surprise to see him get into that. He had Stagger Lee going to hell and fighting with the devil and winning, which shows that he's a real bad MFer. Yepers. This line furthers the idea that Nellie Brown is a prostitute. The emphasis on the word you implies that anybody else would have to pay, but she'll make an exception for Mr. Stagger Lee. Then, there's something I have to say. Before you begin, you'll have to be gone before that my man Billy Dilly comes in. So, he's saying, she's saying that her guy is going to be back soon. Probably allusion to William Leons, Shelton's drinking buddy and victim. Then he says, I'll stay here till he comes in, till time comes to pass, and furthermore, I'll do that, what he says here. I'm a bad MFer, don't you know? I'll crawl over... Jesus. None of these lyrics were originally written by Nick Cave, but is from a particular version of an old Afro-American toast, which is a form of oral poetry, especially popular in prisons back then, maybe even still. These are the only lines that don't come directly from that toast, but rather from a song Nick knew. As he stated in an interview from '96, I heard them on an amazing talking blues song by a guy in the song who introduces himself as 2 times Slim. I always thought it was a groovy line, so I threw it in for good measure. Huh. All right, just then Billy Dilly comes in and he says, you must be a guy they call Stagger Lee. Yes, I'm Stagger Lee, and you better get down on my knees and suck me off, because if you don't, you're going to be dead. Again, apologies for the, yeah. Interesting. All right, so Billy dropped down, slobbered on his head, and then Stag filled him full of lead. And then it ends with him with just screaming. So he's one screwed up individual. In my version of this song, he adds a coda where the devil comes to claim his soul. Oh, really? That's cool. Then Stagger Lee shoots and kills Satan. Such an over-the-top song. He verified in the 72nd issue of Red Hand Files that Stag just ejaculates on Billy Dilly, and gunshots are symbolic of that act. Jeez The screaming was performed by band member Blixa Bargeld and represents the guy orgasming. All right. Well, what a delightful track. thanks for joining me for this. Yeah, hopefully this doesn't get blocked. Or maybe it would be better if it did get blocked. Whatever. Who cares? Yeah, that was something. That was intense. This type of melodrama, I guess, is what I'd call this. Although this would also almost feel like very, very dark comedy, but melodramatic things are always cool. Yeah. All right, another home run from Nick Cave. See you guys soon. Deathstroke 9 out.